And here we are back at the home of every bloomin' thing, just a little bit south of Oliver and a little bit north of Osoyoos on the corner of number 9 Road and 97 Highway. And here we are with a couple more tips for you. Tomatillos, green tomatoes, and this is what makes exceptional salsa. And this gets mixed in with your Roma tomatoes or what other tomatoes you would prefer. And it's just excellent, different flavor, and they're picked green. And we'll go 1 gallon pots, and then after they fill that pot out, the roots are out there, we plant them a little bit deeper than they are in this pot, and they go into a 5 gallon container. Then the 5 gallon container is healed in about 8 inches into the ground, and we grow our tomatoes in that 5 gallon container so that we can control the watering and control the feed program. And we grow that in a sawdust soil pro-mix mix. But lots of sawdust, so it's open and the root structure comes through very, very easily. This is the Chelsea Giant, or one of the largest onions that can be grown in the world. One of the secrets is that giving it a haircut before transplanting at this stage, and then giving it a second haircut before you transplant outside, and then washing off the roots and cutting off half the roots when you're transplanting outside. If you want, Martin, we'll hold this up and we'll show you the root structure coming through the bottom of the trays. And that's really interesting, because when it's at that stage, you're ready for your hair cutting. See? Now you stop the growth from going up, and you make it easy to transplant so they don't fall over in the trays or pots when you're potting. And then they will put out 4 times as much roots, because all the energy goes into the base of the plant and not into the top of the plant. Oh, there's probably about 300. And they got to be transplanted into what we call 1204s, which is 4 little hallux, like we did the veggies out of. They're ready to go now. If for instance it rains tomorrow, then Mama Bear won't work outside. She'll work in here and transplant the onions. We crank up the wood stove and make it nice and warm in here. She turns her radio on, and she can enjoy herself transplanting, because she knows before very long in the Okanagan we'll be eating these guys and making her pickles and salsa and everything out of what we grow is half the fun, because then you eat on that all winter long. Yeah, so we give them their second haircut, and now we'll swell up the bulb even greater, knock them out of the pots and put them in the ground, and then we'll cut the roots in half, and we wash the soil right off the plants. Well, a very interesting thing from an old-timer in the valley here, and is when the snow disappears from between those 2 peaks, and it's time to put all your garden in. And if we think it's going to be cold, we put more buckets in and fill them up with more water, and frost actually goes to the water before it'll go to a plant. And that's a big advantage for people now in cold greenhouses trying to get their first cucumbers out or their first tomatoes out, and just make sure that you have some buckets of water, and watch the full moon, and if it clears off you got more of a chance. I honestly believe that music or happy people in a greenhouse operation makes for healthy plants. And here we are with a couple more tips for you, because so many people read so many books about how to save their poinsettia from last year and how to put it in closets, and that's really not necessary. Here's a last year's 4-inch poinsettia that probably cost around the $3 mark, and here it is in the same pot, growing just over the summer in the sunroom. And of course a poinsettia doesn't have a flower. It's only the leaves turning red, which is called a bract, and they're already starting to turn. And the only disadvantage of saving over poinsettias is that in the greenhouses, under the light system, they have 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness. So if they want to increase to have early poinsettias, then they increase the hours of light and decrease the hours of darkness. So that's why you have poinsettias already on the market now, and that's the first crop of poinsettias being forced, mainly with lights and heat, to give you early poinsettias. But here you are, one saved, and many people have good success saving their poinsettias and growing them on, and that's fun, because even if this comes into bloom or the bracts turn in January, February, you have a beautiful, really healthy plant in your house for a long period of time. And here we're going to show you a little tip on keeping plants alive that you haven't got room to take in the house. And this white cloth is all you really need. If you can put it over top of crops that are close to the house, something that's more exotic that you're trying to grow. It might be a young palm tree that you haven't climatized to this area yet. You can cover with remade cloth. Make sure it's fastened tightly all the way around. Sand in bags is a good way to do it, or wood. If it gets real sunny like today, then it pays you to lift this cloth off, let the plant breathe normally, putting the cloth back on tonight because it's supposed to go down to 5 degrees of frost in this particular area. We use this in the greenhouse. When we don't put the heat on in the greenhouses, we cover our plants with this remade cloth. It gives us that extra protection of not freezing semi-hardy stuff in the greenhouse. And the proof is in the growing that we do here, because this is what we use.